and then we still gonna try to educate you about why you're wrong. Because as long as you're throwing this narrative out there, right, Brother Clarence, there was a book in 2017, a nursing book, all right, that was a nursing book that doctors was paying for. It was teaching these nurses that black people are more impervious to pain. So black women were coming in and they were saying, "I'm having a heart attack."
Right.
But the doctor would say, "No, you're just having, mild pains, go back home."
Right.
This is highlighted on the Bias in Medicine show by John Oliver on HBO. Okay. There was one gentleman who his wife was giving birth, but the doctors refused to pay attention to her and said that she wasn't really in pain. His wife ended up dying on the table that day. So my whole point is that, and I haven't gotten to police brutality. I haven't gotten to redlining. I haven't gotten to how they give us every other type of loan except business loans.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if we get into all of that, I haven't talked about Henrietta Lacks, right? And I don't know if you guys know who Henrietta Lacks is,
I
but
do not.
do you know who Henrietta Lacks is, Brother Jarvis?
No.
All right, so I'm sorry, I'm ranting, I'm going in, but this is what I do, man. I talk about black people. Henrietta Lacks was a black woman who was kidnapped and ultimately kidnapped by the John Hopkins University. If anybody have any doctor friends or anybody in the medical field, they know for a fact that the John Hopkins University is the #1 place for all medical students in this country. They extracted her DNA without her permission and used that DNA to create tons of pharmaceutical solutions, pills, medicines, and just Google it. Oprah ended up doing a movie for her. It's about 4.5 hours. Oprah plays her throughout the whole story. She was kidnapped and dissected on. It wasn't the first time. So rest in peace to Henrietta Lacks, and
Oh man, they
shout out
killed
to
her.
the
Oh man.
yeah. She passed away. She passed away from those scientific experiments. My whole point is, man, we look at that and then we look at Black Wall Street, 1921. You know what I mean? So many opportunities. And for the audience who might not know what I'm talking about, in 1921, the Rosewood District, black people had their own doctors, their own theaters, their own everything you can name of. We had our own town. It was completely tore down. That was 40 years before Dr. King was murdered. We have to talk about what has happened to us if we're going to actually have a conversation about the black community. If you're going to talk about the black community, if you don't want to talk about us, that's fine for people like Amira. But if you're going to, if you're going to say that we're victims and say that everything we're doing and we're complaining about, when we know Dr. Huey P. Newton, man, they was just doing so much for the black community that it's almost offensive. And that's why I say I don't want to just talk about Anton, because there's so many other things that need to be discussed in this next hour that has
Brother,
nothing
you
to do.
can come back, brother. You think we just gonna let you come one time? Brother, you have the opportunity to talk about anytime you want to come back. You come on back, brother. You can talk about whatever. You ain't gotta rush it all into one topic. We just want
you see, I be going in, man.
Yeah, man, go on in, man. We have no problem with that, but don't think you got to rush it because you never coming back, bro. No, brother, you can come back whenever you want to. Go and keep putting that information out there, bro. Because I didn't know about the system. JP down here, she said they continue to use her stem cells today. I didn't know that. I never.
Yep. Like JP said, stem cells came from Henrietta Lacks, a black woman. Yeah. They kidnapped her, and John Hopkins University, in my opinion, they would never say this, but they became the #1 medical university due to her cells.